This episode is brought to you by TaxAct. Don't do your taxes alone. Join TaxAct's National Admin Night. Admin nights are social gatherings for getting through your to-do list. So get ready for a night of fun, finding deductions, and filing taxes with TaxAct, where you can file your federal and state return for just $49 through April 8. Let's get together and get them over with. Visit taxact.com/admin-night for details.
Happy holidays from the DSR Network. We are deeply appreciative of our members and the year that we've had. To celebrate the holiday season, we are offering a 50% discount on either your first month or first year of membership. Members enjoy an ad-free listening experience, bonus content for virtually all of our shows, an invitation to the members-only Slack community, and more. Best of all, if you become a member in the month of December, you can take 50% off the membership price for the first month or for the first year. Visit thedsrnetwork.com/buy and enter code DSRHoliday at checkout. That's thedsrnetwork.com/buy and code DSRHoliday. Thank you very much for your support.
Welcome to The Secret Life of Cookies, where we try to solve the world's problems through the miracle of carbohydrates, one recipe at a time, with host Marissa Rothkopf and her dog, Bosco.
Hello, everybody, and welcome not just to any episode, but the third anniversary episode of The Secret Life of Cookies. 3, count them, 3 years. It's been a pretty wonderful couple of years, thanks to all the very wonderful people who have come on the show. But obviously, more importantly, it's you guys, the listeners, who make doing this podcast such a joy. I love to get your feedback, so please keep it coming. Tell me what you want to look forward to in the new year. Should we have video? What should we do? Let me know. And give me some feedback. I'd love to hear it. On my first episode way back in December 2020, my guest was comedian Kathy Griffin, who I taught to make lemon bars. Today, my guest is also a comedian and pundit and radio and podcast host. I am pleased to present my guest today, host of the podcast Stand Up with Pete Dominick, and with a new comedy special out this week. Why, yes, it's Mr. Pete Dominick. But before we get making a raspberry crisp and trying to sort out the world's problems, a bit of housekeeping. All the recipes for the podcast and links can be found on my Substack newsletter at marissarothkopf.substack.com, along with a gigantic archive of recipes and stories of American kitchen history. And not to mention an enormous cache of cookie recipes for all of your holiday baking needs, including the debut of a spiced rye flour chocolate chip cookie with cardamom. It's really nifty. It has chunks of chocolate in it that get all gooey and well, you know what I'm saying. Go to my Substack. You'll find the recipe there. On my newsletter, you can support my work with a subscription for $5 a month, or if that's not possible yet, you can subscribe for free. And please don't forget to join Deep State Radio as a member for special perks. Either way, I'm grateful for your support. Now let's meet Pete. Welcome to The Secret Life of Cookies. I have a very special guest today. Special for a lot of reasons, but I would say most special because usually you can find this man in his shed. But today we find him in a different place. There are more than one place where you can find Pete Dominick, my guest. And today we find him where? Not in the shed, but
I'm in the
he's
kitchen.
in the kitchen.
Marissa, this is a really scary, unsafe feeling for me. I feel in the confines of my shed, protected, not judged. I feel feared. While in the shed here, I feel vulnerable. I feel insecure, and I am only here because you are the Jedi and I'm here for your guidance. I want to be better. Thank you for having me.
Those are so many important words right there. One, vulnerable. I love when somebody on my show feels vulnerable, weak, and in my control. So Thank you for making this possible for me. For the three of you out there who don't know, and for all of you out there who do know, Mr. Pete Dominick, you have a long career in comedy, activism, being generally just a very, very smart human being, but also I wish you could see Pete's face right now. It really does look smart. But he is also the host of Stand Up with Pete Dominick, which is where you find him every day in his shed interviewing truly the most interesting, wonderful, notable people aside from my brother, David, who's appeared on your podcast. And now you're on mine.
Yes, and unfortunately, he's really exceeded his time on the show. He's been on like 72 times in just the last year, and people are all rough cuffed out. And I've quit him. Is what I like to say to him, to keep him uncomfortable, to keep him always performing at his best on my program, even though he has so many of his own. I love David Rothkopf. He's brilliant. And even more so, Marissa Rothkopf, because I'm talking to her and any of the family, by the way. But thank you very much for your kind and generous words about me and my career. I measure intelligence. I twinged at that when you said I'm smart. I still feel a bit of an imposter because I had poor grades in high school, though I never missed a day because every day was an opportunity to perform and meet people. And I love people, and I did everything possibly available in high school. But more importantly, because, I had poor grades. I had poor SAT scores, below average, maybe average, below average SAT scores. And to be fair, it's because I had a stromboli the night before. And I tell you that if there are any young people listening, consider that meal the night before and where it shows up during the test. And then, but finally, I only went to an associate, a 2-year college, a junior college. I got an associate's degree, and then I left and went to New York City to pursue a career in stand-up because that was all I ever wanted to do. And so my intellect is just about my curiosity and only driven by that. So I interview smart people every day and have for over, 12 years. I picked up a little, but a lot. I don't retain most of it. And that's why I wasn't a good student, because testing is a stupid way to measure intelligence. Testing is a dumb, bad idea. It makes kids feel stupid even when they're not.
My child, Oliver, is literally in school right now, railing against the tests that he has to take right now in class, because he also agrees with you. It is a terrible way to test, to measure a student's knowledge. And in this week where many people of the senior level of high school are getting the worst initialed thing, the ED response, which really, my God, does that change in your lifetime, what ED means to you? But I get it. You thought ahead. ED December 15th was bad? Wait.
Right.
I feel so bad for kids today, because it's not about, even if you've worked so hard, even if you're the best kid on test, even if you've done all these things, it's a lottery. Yale got the most people ever in its life applying for ED. They can't even process them all in time. It's a horrifying situation out there. And if you pass a senior on your way, maybe you meet them at the CVS, anything, just give them a nickel, buy them a chocolate bar, do something, because it's a really stinky world out there for them. You have teenagers and college kids, so you know.
Yeah, my daughter is a freshman in college, just finished her first semester home for the holidays. Very excited to have her back. And my other daughter is in 10th grade and doing really, really well, works super hard and is excelling and evolves and everything. Reminds me of me.
Mm-hmm.
But she gets good grades, and I did. She actually gets really good grades. She actually does it all. I worried she might be someone like me that worked pretty hard, but just didn't do well in tests and didn't perform well in that atmosphere. And as I got older, I realized I learned from talking to people. And so my show is interviewing experts, journalists, scholars, scientists, physicians, artists, and more throughout the years. And I just prepare like a final. Yeah, like a test, to talk to a person so I can ask the best, most interesting questions, lead them and my audience to learning something and hopefully being slightly entertained, keeping it moving. And that's where I have learned in that school, by talking to experts. That's how I learn. I can't sit here and watch someone lecture, and I got to sit in this dumb desk and I'm looking over at that beautiful girl and then thinking, oh, I wonder if she'll date me. And I'm looking over at that guy and thinking, oh, why is he so awesome? Why can't I be as great? Like all those things, I'm squirming, I'm everything. I can't learn that way, but I have learned well by asking people questions. And that's what I do for a living. And I love it. I know that you do too, because I've heard you talk about this. I did prepare. You love the interviewing part of your work and always have.
Always have. That's my favorite part. If I didn't have to, like going from journalism where you do an interview and you have to sort of write it up and stuff versus doing it here. And then it's like, in a sense, done. My greatest pleasure. This is how I'd want to do everything. Right. And I think a shout out to different forms and different ways of learning. So speaking of learning, I bet you're going to be pretty good. You requested, as you know, we cook here on this podcast and talk about the important things that happen over the week and in the world and over the years, maybe even 400 years ago. We can go wherever we want to. But we're going to start by getting our hands busy, because I find that actually helps focus my brain, my curious little brain. And you asked for a fantastic recipe. I mean, I don't know if it's fantastic. The proof will literally be in the sort of pudding, but it'll be in the apple raspberry crisp or the raspberry crisp. We're going to make a fruit dessert, which is a great thing to make, I think, actually this time of year, because it's really simple and it's not too heavy. You don't want that, it's a lot of heavy food this time of year.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's my favorite dessert. And so it's a good time. Any time of year, you're already starting to talk in a higher brow language, like about what's appropriate during certain times of the year. I'm only just coming to that at age 48, and I really am enjoying it. But I don't know, like I can hear you talk about it, but I can't be like, oh, when it's great to have stew? June. What? No, it's not. No one makes, what are you wrong
No
with
one
you?
makes stew in June. You're right. You can always call me if you have a concern or just text me. Okay.
Thank you.
Because I don't want you to make those mistakes. So we're going to make.
I don't know the rules.
We can learn them. Everybody can learn to cook, which is sort of my whole belief system. You asked for a raspberry crisp. I insisted we add apples to it, just to because apples do something very interesting, which is add pectin, which will help sort of keep it all together a little bit. And we're also adding cornstarch to it to help give it some sort of body. I mean, it's not going to be like a girdle. It's not going to be like, like a physical girdle for the food, but it will, like a shaper, You familiar with different sorts of women's underwear that helps shape their bodies? No. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm wearing them now, but that's neither here nor there. I wasn't sure about the cornstarch's necessity, and when you refer to it as such, now I'm understanding it. And I'm wondering, and now I'm worried immediately. Maybe I didn't add enough body. Maybe there's not enough cornstarch. I think I measured appropriately, but what if there's not enough body in my crumble?
I think the nice thing is that's why we always, if we have like a sea of raspberry juice and you put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on it, you have sort of a very nice deconstructed sundae.
Got it. Okay. Well, I did get ice cream on your suggestion. I don't like to keep it in the house because of what I do to it and it to me.
It must be sort of mutual, right?
Yeah, I ate the pint with the packaging on it.
You still eat the top too? Because I find that very chewy.
Yeah, it is chewy. It's not great, but that's my penalty.
I guess you sort of deserve that. Or do you? I don't think so. Let's get making, and then we'll get talking, because I'm from Jersey. Okay. I have a pile of apples in front of me, cut into very small cubes. What do you have in front of you?
I also have that. I'm going to change my camera angle. I'm going to switch it around. I was prepared just for this moment.
This is amazing.
And so I've got the food prepared, and hopefully this will work. And I think, if you share this ever with anybody, the video, they'll see how well I'm doing in terms of financially based on the kitchen. I think we judge people's kitchens. You'll see my back splash maybe, and you'll say, now there's a guy who's had a lot of success.
That is his house. For those of you who won't see the video, screams of success. He has a stove. He has from what I can see, a microwave and a coffee maker, and some attractive light oak wood panel. Shaker style.
But describe what you're not. describe what you're maybe avoiding is the team of people bustling back and forth. That's our
It's
help.
true. It's wonderful to have that sort of help. I have the same one here. I've been dressed professionally. My hair has been each curl. I have a different attendant for each curl on my head.
I was going to say that's impressive. I wouldn't expect anything less by someone who has such a window in her kitchen. But here are I'm ready for it. I've got my apples in front of me, was your question. Yes. I've got my raspberries, which you said don't let them thaw out. They're just kind of out of the freezer about an hour ago. And then I've got my crumble.
Do you think you could hold that bowl up, those two bowls up for me? Because it showed a real, look at that.
How about
3? I want 3. Oh, someone worked as a waiter. Did you?
No, I lied and tried to get a job working as a waiter. And the smart guy who was going to hire me, the manager, said, "Why don't you carry these 3 plates?" And my whole body set on fire because I knew he was calling me out. And I tried to carry the 3 plates, and he said, "Thanks for coming in. Bye-bye."
He said, "Thanks. Why don't you go into stand-up comedy instead?"
That's exactly what he said. And you know who that guy was? Louis C.K. Anyway.
And you said, anyway, I haven't, so it's the simplest dish you could possibly make. Sugar, apples, raspberries, not too much sugar, lemon juice, and I add lemon zest because I like a little bit of vavavoomski in there. And I don't know if you're capable of talking and mixing at the same time, but here's a segue for you. Speaking of vavavoomski, you ready? How about that? Yeah. Colorado.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump. Saying, yes. No, you can't be on our ballot here in Colorado. That happened yesterday as I was preparing a fine supper for my family. No, I wasn't, but I was watching it gobsmacked. Were you surprised by any of this?
Not surprised because I followed it closely. I was surprised that it came down when it came last night, but if you followed that case, you knew that it was a possibility. It was originally presented in a paper by these Federalist Society, conservative Republicans, making the case that the Constitution prevented someone who had led an insurrection from being able to be on the ballot. So it started with these conservatives, and then you had a bunch of really smart constitutional liars and lawyers jump on board, obviously bring the case where I followed it through the courts up to the Supreme Court, and the arguments that, that they made and the reactions to it have been fast and furious. The arguments that they made were really interesting, and the reactions to it have been typical. But obviously, MAGA wants to have a civil war. Trump was up all night typing out a screed. But the big question, which is why I don't know how much we need to talk about it, is, we can all have an answer on what we think the Supreme Court will do, because apparently they're going to take it quick. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. Trump's going to bring it there, obviously. I want to be on the ballot. I should be on the ballot in all the states. Any state that doesn't put me on a ballot is, it's a bad state. And I think it's now an immigrant state.
I think it's a state that has bad blood. It's the blood not good blood. The worst blood.
The Colorado blood, they're very up high. They're very altitude. It's thin. And there's, a lot of people there that have come from, those countries. So I think that the Supreme Court is going to have to decide, and quickly. And I think most people that I trust that are pretty good with the predictions on this court say that he will be able to be on the ballot in every state. And if he's not, if they decide otherwise, well, then every state is going to bring suit, and every state Supreme Court is going to have to make a decision. And then he might not be on some ballots. And then we have a larger threat of violence, I suppose. And so what is right and just, as David Rothkopf says, might not be popular. He's tweeting along those lines today. But man, the political outcome, the real world outcome, if he's not allowed to be on the ballot, is something worth talking about.
I think that is actually the greater concern. I mean, I would like to sort of go down the lane of saying, oh, look, the Federalist Society actually said, this is this idea that it's an originalist idea, right? That this guy, if you're going to stand by the Constitution, you're going to stand by the 14th Amendment. And if you created an insurrection, maybe you shouldn't be president. You can't be president. You can't run for president. But and the court is full of people like that. who love to tell me that I can't do certain things with my body or with other people because the Constitution doesn't have it in it. So it'll be interesting to see them thread that needle.
Yes, the idea that they refer to themselves as originalists is a really silly thing, because if you follow their decisions, they often make decisions based on things that have no mention ever in the Constitution. So they're really not originalists, except for when they say they are on, say, the Second Amendment. But what about the rest of the Constitution? And so people shouldn't buy that. I've been interviewing Eric Siegel of Georgia State University, whose ideas have become more and more popular. They used to be more radical about the court not being a court. I've been talking to him for over 10 years, and I prescribe to that, and he's got that criticism of originalism and originalists. They really aren't. They are when they say they are, and then they aren't when it's, more convenient for their whatever other ideology they have, free market, real free market capitalism,
whatever that is. It's whenever I hear the word originalist too, though, I always think of like a Wendy's cheeseburger or something. And it's like, yes, this is the original, or Arby's or something. I don't know why, but I just have this fear.
I don't want to upgrade you, but I usually think of Impressionist era painters, but I'm not better than you. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for being my guest on the show, and goodbye. I have dumped a load of delicious looking fruits into my pan here. I've actually put some peaches in mine, but that's only because the smoothie fairies in my house actually partook of the raspberries in my freezer, and I didn't know that. So I have an apple, raspberry, peach. And we were talking about whether it's appropriate to eat stew in June and whether or not it's appropriate to eat peaches in December. They're frozen. Why not? And now I'm going to get my hands dirty and make the crumble mixture. Have you ever made a crumble mixture?
Well, my hand is dirty because I've revisited it. I made it earlier.
That's so good.
And this was the big question for me, because I love crumble, but I've never seen it be made. And I did it as you told me to do it, and I'm not sure. I have a lot of concerns.
Okay, tell me about your concerns.
Crumble mixture.
And you probably ask the questions that people out there want to know about crumble.
Well, you said cut a stick of 8 teaspoons of butter into 16 pieces.
8 tablespoons, but yes, that's correct.
8 tablespoons into 16 pieces, I believe.
Yes.
And so I did that, and then you said it should be a little softened. So I put it in the microwave for 10 minutes. No. For about 10. It was very cold, so I put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. So it was just a little softer. There were still chunks. But then I did dump it in with all of the mixture, the oats and the flour and everything. And so now it's somewhat clumpy, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the case. I feel like the butter has a lot, it's very chunky, and there was a local news team here ridiculing.
Oh dear. I'm so sorry. I hope that once the local papers get a wind of it, I think you're sort of sunk, and you should probably take up at the local Marriott, because they're going to be surrounding your house.
Yeah, that's my concern here, Marissa.
Do you, have you ever eaten a piece of crumb cake? Like with streusel on top of it? Yeah. Does yours look anything like that in your bowl?
Yeah, it does. I would say it does, but I feel like I have too many large chunks and not enough small and medium chunks. And those chunks are chunks of butter.
Then
they're butter covered.
Yeah, so we need to make sure those butter chunks turn into a mishmash of sugar, flour, and butter.
Right. So how do I do that at this point?
Let me show you.
Hands?
Look at this.
Is there a device?
Look at this. There's no device. The device is the one that God gave you. These beautiful, beautiful hands. And it's not, it's age spots. I use, no. Anyway, see,
my hands are all scarred up from all of my really manly activities throughout.
Yeah, I was wondering, was it alligator wrestling? What kind of, is it true you taught Bear Grylls everything he knows?
That's a rumor. I usually save babies from fires a lot.
Not down wells, just fire. Yeah, I guess it's either one or the other.
Mainly fires. I would be the guy they call in to save a baby whenever it was in trouble, sometimes in a tree. But a lot of hand injuries as a result of, my rugged activities. I'm using now, and I'm in here, and I'm just like, is this all I can do? Is this the only repair?
Yeah, no, it's not just the only repair. It's the way to do it. You are now doing the right thing.
I didn't go far enough.
That's correct. Because you don't want all that butter just melting. Speaking of manly activities, you were supposed to be on this podcast yesterday, but instead you decided to start, I think, a new podcast called Home Repair with Pete Dominick. Is that true?
Well, I've thought about doing a podcast for men to just feel seen, where the whole podcast is you tried to do your home repair. At least you tried. It's not a how-to. I'm not telling you how to do it. You'll watch me fail, and you'll feel better about your failure, which may have been better or worse. A lot of the people watching will have lost a limb. I've almost lost. So I had a big issue. We had it was a major storm here in the Northeast, which is the weather continues to be just so erratic now for our lives, and
not
so,
erotic. It's just erratic, correct?
Well, for some people, everybody's got their kink. Some people are into the climate crisis, apparently. Like, ooh, I love the way California is turning into a desert, turns me on. So, anyway, I was out there, I got water in the basement, and under it's a finished basement. So under
see how rich he is, everybody? Doing very well. His basement is finished.
And so
carpet or now, do you have carpet in your basement?
Yeah, no, we have those the fake wood vinyl stuff, those strips that make it look like you're doing better than you are. And the water got in there, but not too far. And I attacked it from the outside and the inside. I think I've made some progress. Maybe I solved it. But like I said, I probably made it worse. Just like my crumble. Now my crumble is larger chunks.
No, you did not. Now you just have a little fun and crumble it up. Watch. I'm going to do just what you did. Everybody, I'm taking a lump of mine, look, and I'm going to make a big ugly ball of it, just like you did. See? Now it's cookie dough.
Oh.
And then I'm just going to take it, watch, and I'm going to crumble it over the top of my crumble. Because you can crumble it. Look at that. Yes, great motion. You can have big chunks.
Okay, so I have to put my apples and my apples and my raspberries in it.
Yeah, I would put them on the bottom of the pan.
Okay, so my pan has been buttered because you told me to do that.
And nice pan. Mm-hmm.
I tried it. Okay, is that a nice pan? You said 8 by 10, and as a performer, I know what that means because I have a exactly. So I'm going to put my apples in there first.
You can mix them all together. Why don't you mix them? The apples, the raspberries, the sugar, the cornstarch.
I'm worried that I have too much.
It cooks down.
Right. Okay. Well, here we go.
Okay, everybody, it's happening.
This is.
He also has a snowman, snowman oven glove. I'm noticing that in the background. And his kitchen, for those of you at home who are wondering, how well-to-do is he as I wash my hands? He is, that's the sound you hear, I swear.
Well-to-do.
He's a well-to-do gentleman who has a very well-decorated home. And a lovely sort of sage green maybe on the walls. I think it's a very nice, tasteful color.
Yeah, I can't take all credit for that. My wife and partner probably made a lot of those choices. Mm-hmm. But I'm big on seasonal decorating, changing a few things here and in there. I like change. Here I go.
Did you put the sugar and stuff in?
Already.
Oh, much earlier. Terrific. Beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah.
And, beautiful. Now he's going to smush it down a little with the back of his spoon. We're getting, that is beautiful.
I'm going to go ahead and get like a better spoon. How do you feel?
I don't think you need to. I just really don't. I think,
right.
Think of grandma. Think of grandma back in Indiana and her little farmstead, her little homestead. And she used to make a crumble like this every day just to feed the hands, the cow hands and stuff like that, farm hands. And just like you feed your staff that dresses you and cleans you and makes sure that you look.
Yes, Michael, it's almost time to eat. He's my stylist.
That's great. Only the one?
For just on that's the
It's Wednesday.
Because I knew I was doing this with you. How many outfits do I really
That's a good point. And anyway, and Grandma didn't use more than she's not like, I'm going to get the special spoon. She's like, whatever I got. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're right. Okay, so it's all flattened.
It's all flattened out, and now you're going to take delicious crumble, and you're going to crumble it over the top.
Okay. All right. I mean, I almost want to take a picture of this to show people it happened before.
I definitely think you should.
Because I don't think people will believe. You have to understand how this is really foreign to me. And it's a pretty big deal. So I just had to take a photo of the fact that it's happening. Okay. Now we've got that documented, and I will post it on social media because that's the world I live in.
Always doing.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm crumbling over, and it's so big and chunky.
So you can de-chunkify it, just like little teeny bits.
Okay.
And I bet at the bottom of the dish there'll be little crumbly bits, little different sizes. Mm-hmm. That's sort of the fun of it, I think. You're making a streusel topping. You want different mouthfeels. Isn't that a nice expression?
I'll tell you what I don't love. How it feels is the word streusel. I don't usually get uncomfortable with words the way some people do.
But streusel?
Streusel.
You're not from around here?
Maybe it's because it's German.
Ja, das Streusel.
Maybe it's because it's German.
Yeah, but wait, the word streusel brings so many good connotations. I mean, it has the promise of coffee cake, New Jersey coffee cake with big, thick lumps of streusel. The best cakes have streusel.
My mom used to hit me with one, and maybe that explains.
She used to throw streusel at you. Is that it?
She did, right into my eyeballs.
Oh my God, that explains so much.
Yes, it does. It does. I'm crumbling.
So I think there was a brilliant idea that's going to make you even more well-to-do if you go through with it, which is creating, I think, a YouTube channel that is At Least I Tried, and getting you'll get, it'll be like Jackass for suburban dads and other homeowners. Doesn't have to be dads, doesn't have to be men, but it's At Least You Tried. I tried to hook up the gas to my house for the new stove, but didn't really do it correctly. My house blew up. At least I tried.
You shouldn't. Yeah, I love everything except for that specific episode.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe we should let somebody else hook up the gas. At Least I Tried. That one never airs because Bruce is dead.
Bruce is dead.
He was smoking a joint while he was trying to hook up the gas, and one thing led to another. I think there is a lot of anxiety, and I think a lot about this for men of any age and I have a lot of this in my new stand-up special about trying to take care of your home. If you're a homeowner, all of a sudden no one told you, you've got to take care of it. Well, I don't have that set of skills. I certainly hope I make enough money to pay someone to do everything. But at some point, you may or may not do that. And at some point, you want to be able to fix the little things. It's more annoying to hire somebody than to do it yourself. But there's a lot of anxiety for men around, for those of us who don't have that set of skills and have to learn them. And of course, that's what YouTube is really for. You can find just about anything you need. Oh, you got to put a new lock on your front door on YouTube. And I think, it's really interesting the way it's kind of changed how, people of different genders can, if you're a single woman living alone, you don't have to hire some guy who's a handyman. You can actually go on YouTube. It doesn't take, it's not about gender. It's just about whether you learned that or not growing up. And so there's a lot of like inherent sexism in it, but I'm just talking about men. I'm talking about those of us men who didn't make enough crumble to cover their fruit. That is really going to be a very hard thing for us.
That is going to be a hard thing. Did you not make enough crumble? Because
it's possible.
Because what I would say to you is you could just.
It's a thin layer, Marissa. Oh my God.
It's okay. Some of the fruit can show through. You're not making a cake batter.
Oh my God.
That's going to be beautiful. That is beautiful.
Sure?
No, I'm so.
It's very thin. I need to.
No. I know. I think it's really good. No. Okay, now Pete has started to organize them by size and shape, and that's gonna.
the judgments, the people going to judge
No,
me
it is
very
beautiful.
harshly.
Everyone, I want you to know
Yes.
it's beautiful. He'll be posting
I'm
these
no kind
pictures.
of man.
At least you tried, Pete.
Did you just say I'm not
No,
enough?
no.
Did you actually just say I'm not
No,
enough?
I
thought I
said
heard
my
that.
husband is better than you. No, I said, I'm sorry.
Well, that's
What did I say?
shocking. That's shocking,
say?
really. Has he ever made this kind of
A crumble?
A crumble? Your husband always covers the fruit.
I would say that I married an engineer for a reason. And at one point early on in the days of blogdom, I said, I'm going to start a blog called Sugar and Spouse. And it's going to be me trying to teach my very methodical husband how to cook. And
interesting.
Then no, we decided that we had better things to do with our lives. And now I just do this, which is better, believe me.
Well, as long as whatever's best for the marriage is what I think.
Exactly.
Yes. But the fact that anybody would be a willing participant to learn a new thing from their spouse is a sign of a healthy marriage.
Thank you very much. I think you're right. Yeah. Hi, honey. Question for you. We also, this time of year for me is final exam time. For those of you who may or may not know, I teach journalism at the at Montclair State University. And every semester I teach an intro to journalism course, and I've recently started giving the same exam, although there are different options. So if you're a future student of mine, there are lots of different options. I might throw something different at you. But the one I really, really loved giving is I send them out with the question, what do people think of the news media? We spend a whole semester talking about the news media, but also learning how to be journalists and how important it is to have journalists in the world. And then I send them out and I ask them to interview people and find out what they think of the news and to compare it to national polls by Pew and Night Gallup and see how their friends and their family compare. And do you want to guess at some of the responses of, you have a college-age student and a teenager yourself. Do you want to guess at some of the reactions to whether or not they watch the news or experience the news? Let's just call it experiencing the news in some way.
I would guess they're very limited.
Correct.
And low. Yeah.
And they're getting most of their information from places like the highly reliable TikTok.
Yes, TikTok.
So their sources, they don't believe they believe CNN is biased. Many of them experience the knowledge. And I say it like this, that Fox is biased, but they appreciate what they have to say because it's nice. They like going to a place that reflects their values. And I'm not talking about my students necessarily, but like members of their family. Every single person has doubts about whether the media is doing a good job or not. Everybody wants to poop on it from a height.
Yes.
And I wonder, what's your personal take on it? Like the people who surround you, how do they feel about the news media?
Well, I think the similar sentiment is always that folks are cynical of news media for a number of reasons that are so easy to argue for and against. But I think that the more important question is how dangerous it creates for an environment, for a local community. I think it's easiest to talk about my experience in my local community. We've had several controversies, for example, around the school board is the ones I've been involved with. And the idea of that you're getting reliable information from a local journalist on what was at stake or what this is about, much less something else that's affecting the whole town, some kind of development project, some kind of environmental issue. if a train blows up in your town, how do you know what exactly the stakes and consequences are? Of course, you've got the government and what they have an opinion on all of these things. And then you have the fourth estate, journalism. And their job is supposed to report what is in the public's interest. But that, of course, is a fancy of the past. Because now the job is to make money and get clicks. And so I always encourage people to ask where they're getting their news from, who the person generated is, or now we're all ripping each other off, are generating the income from. Is it advertising? Is it, a lot of people don't know when we focus so much on cable news that so much of their money just comes from something called carriage fees, which is they get a few pennies for every single person who has a cable account. And if they are on that platform, whatever major cable provider you have, they get paid hundreds of millions of dollars before they make money in advertising, which is why a guy like Tucker Carlson, who had most of his ads banned, was still on in prime time because he was bringing so many people in and to subscribe to Fox News as they do. So I urge people, all people, to get news about tough, important issues from print journalism, from long articles, investigative journalism. I urge people to find out the funding of that investigative journalism and what their incentives are on television. I don't think it's so easy to be cynical, and that's because I've been involved in every single medium in the entire media atmosphere. Old media, new media. I'm 48. I've been doing this for a long time. So I straddled all of that. I worked at all the cable networks. I had IDs to get me in at MSNBC, at CNN, where I had a contract, at Fox News, where I started, at SiriusXM, where I had a 15-year contract, at Comedy Central. I get the cynicism, but journalism is really important to understand what it is. And the only way to understand any of these difficult issues is to read about them and learn about them in long form. But of course, we bake everything down to streusel and breadcrumbs. And so it can be processed in a soundbite on a TikTok, generate ad revenue, generate subscriptions for our now Substacks and Patreons and, YouTube advertising wherever we're popular. But we really need to be thoughtful and think long and hard about big, tough issues before we run out and start protesting.
I completely agree. And we see this happening right now on college campuses where people kind of see a TikTok and they're like, oh my God, this is happening and I better run out and make some sounds about it. But college students have been doing that forever. So let me just, this is not special to like what's going on in Palestine and Gaza.
Yeah, but college students are always, but by that, I think you mean college students were always reactive to what's happening in the world. But in a different era, the reactions were to a newspaper article, really.
To one source.
That had been,
right.
Yeah, or more importantly, to a real thing that happened, the Vietnam War, abortion rights, voting rights. Those were real problems that people had different views on, for or against. Now we have people protesting. For example, I'm not obviously talking about the Middle East. That's a real thing. Although people are protesting fake things around it and so on. But I'm talking specifically about, say, election denialism or vaccines. Like people are up in arms and running out in the street to scream about a thing, running up in the Capitol, being arrested, over 1,000 of them now. For what? For a thing that didn't happen. They were protesting about a thing that never happened, that they were told happened by the then president. And now by anyone from Alex Jones to Elon Musk, it's not happening. And you're running out and getting killed over it, maybe?
Or getting sent to jail about it, too. I mean, if
losing your job. I mean, like you're going to go protect the kids who are being kidnapped and trafficked at the mall. No, they're not. You don't need to go. It's okay. You can stay home.
Okay.
Everything's okay at the mall.
It's very much okay. No one's going to tuck a $20 bill into your, under your car so that you might go under, and then they're going to put a cloak over you. And these stories are just fantastic. And by that, I mean fantastic.
Yeah, I just had to,
in the way of like science fiction is fantastic. Yes.
I mean, this is the perfect example is I was just on a gondola at Killington because, as you and your listeners know, very, very successful.
Very successful.
With some of my successful friends. Some guy gets on the gondola. We don't know him. Conversation
So you couldn't buy the gondola just for your friends. You're not that successful. I don't mean to bring you down. Like to be with the people. Sorry.
Exactly. Like I like to let this kind of thing happen where someone can get on and tell me within 3 minutes on the gondola, Did you hear? They have kitty litter in the kids' classrooms now because kids think they're cats. They identify as cats. And now we are accommodating them so they can go to the bathroom in their kitty litter. And you know what I said to that guy? You know what I said to him? I said,
push.
No.
You said,
yeah, I opened the door and I said, we don't need you. And I pushed him out like, I don't have an example from an action movie, but so I simply said, and then followed up with more, but I said, no, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. But there is a grain of truth to it. And the grain of truth is very sad. And it's this. In America, the leading cause of death for adolescents is gun violence, suicides, accidents, obviously shootings, violent shootings. And we all know about the school shootings. And as a result of what we now, this generation, my kids are dealing with and going through lockdowns, they prepare for these things. And so if they have to lock down in their class and turn all the lights off and sit there until it's cleared, maybe that's 2 hours, maybe that's 10 hours, some child is going to have to go to the bathroom. So apparently some classrooms have taken to keeping a pail or box of kitty litter. So in need be where they're locked down, there would be a sanitary yet humiliating and horrifyingly scarring situation for that child to comfort themselves. And that is where that comes from. But it's not, of course, because a kid pretends he's a cat, because I told the guy, you know how you know that's not true? It's a health hazard. You can't take a crap in a first grade classroom. No one allows it because it's against the law.
And what did he say? Truly, what did he say?
He opened his mind. To be fair, I was hanging him outside the gondola by his ski boot.
Okay, but
he said, yes, I believe you. Pull me back in.
Well, so those are the kind of tips I'm looking for in how to get kids involved in the news, because the numbers of kids voting have gone up. We've got now like 50% in the 2020 election, younger voters, which is up from 39%. So that's a big deal. But if they don't know what's going on in the news, how are they going to vote appropriately? And so, it's one thing for me to I gather all my kids and come on, let's all go vote. But I also want them to know what they need to vote for.
Sure.
When Roe versus Wade was first dismantled a couple of years ago, or whatever, many of my students had no clue about it and didn't know that there had been a time where there weren't abortion rights, because I live in the state of New Jersey, and so it was not such a big deal. So not so well informed, getting their information off TikTok. How do you create a generation of kids that actually know the news or know the actual news?
It's a really important question. I'm sure you have a lot more thoughts than I do working where you work with all these young people at a broadcasting school. My daughter's at Ithaca College. While she's not studying news, she's more on the entertainment end and writing fictional narratives and so on. But,
that is the news for many people, fictional narratives.
Yes, I mean,
fortunately,
for sure it is, and it sells. And I hope that young people, but I think young people are going to have to solve these problems and create credible channels wherever media exists, because it's everywhere now. Anybody can have an affordable high def camera, microphone, and post on any platform. So anybody can build an audience. So we're going to have to come up with, and they, more importantly than our generation, who could rely on editors and journalists with sourcing. And if they get it wrong, their reputations and careers would be ruined. Potentially they could go to jail even. And that's, that's changing. And they're going to have to come up with ways to, I think, rate people's reputations and credibility, new models for creating investigative, credible, reputable information that people feel they can rely on. And I think we're starting to see some of it in certain ways. And obviously people rise to the top based on how crazy they are, or I think often how credible they are, how prescient they've been. I mean, if you paid close attention, as I did during COVID, like a whole bunch of epidemiologists became really respected, credible people because what they said was going to happen did happen. And sometimes that actually does gain you credibility as opposed to always predicting the wrong thing, as so many economists and foreign policy experts have, and then getting a raise or a better job. But I think they'll have to come up with that. And I'm excited to see what they come up with. I'm always optimistic.
I like that.
Not about my crumble, though. Do I put this in the oven now?
Is the oven on?
It's on, and I just heard it ding.
Oh, then it must be ready. So put it in.
Yeah. Is that what it means when the oven dings? Does that mean it's the temperature has reached its
I don't know your oven intimately, but why don't we see?
Michael, come open the oven.
Exactly.
Mike, he's on break.
He's on break.
Oh,
look at that. A man for all seasons. Look at that.
Top rack, bottom
rack.
Midst
the center. Better? Too close to the bottom and it will burn. Too close to the top and the top may scorch. And always remember, when you go in and look, and if it's not bubbling, but everything's looking a little dark brown on the top, put a loose piece of foil. Loose, I tell you. Piece of foil over the top. Do not crimp that. Do not. That will create sweaty streusel. And we do not like, God, you look uncomfortable when I said streusel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
I do. But now, because I was thinking about one of the things that can happen with a crumble is how sweaty it might be, how much juice or something. But that's why you added the body and the apple. Now, how long? I got to set a time. I got to tell my servant, who, by the way, it's so weird that I hired a woman named Alexa, and then Amazon came out with their smartphone. But yeah, it's so weird. But mine. Anyway, how long do I need to put it
tell Siri, start with a half an hour and then look. It's probably will be about 45 minutes though. But I don't know your oven.
Alexa, can you set a timer for 30 minutes?
Morning. And
I'm good. Alexa, I'm good. Thank you. No, that's fine. I don't need any ideas for music. Thank you. No, I'm talking to my friend Marissa. So if you could just quiet down, or I will dock your pay. I will. And guess who won't eat? Your children. That's right. Sorry. No, Alexa, stop. Okay. I'm so sorry about her and that you had to see that.
It's interesting to see you in that situation. But, people should see the real Pete.
I'm not always the change I want to see. Not always. Not with my team, at least. But
sometimes people who work for us just deserve that, because I have so many people. I'm kidding, people. Yes. I'm obviously nobody works for me. I clean my own house.
Gardeners.
Yeah. I'm the gardener. I clean the gutters, the whole thing.
That's impressive.
Okay, my husband does it. Did you hear that?
All right, you lied. Stolen valor. Go ahead.
I heard a description this morning, and I'd like to, as we come to the close of this fine podcast, I heard a description this morning of Elon Musk, and they were talking about him in this really look how he does this and that. Yeah, he's such a mercurial fellow, right? And I thought to myself, I don't get to be mercurial, right? I get to be ADHD. I get to be scattered. I get to be, oh my God, you changed your mind again, you loser. Can't you keep a focus on anything? But no, if you're a billionaire, even if you're creating flying hibachis on, electric hibachis on wheels. I mean, let's not forget the Pinto, okay? He's got the newest one with that Tesla thing. I'm sorry, Tesla owners.
There's new Tesla truck, which doesn't
fit together. If your kid built it, you'd be like, oh, sweetie, why don't we try again?
Maybe engineering's not your thing. Maybe we should put the Legos down, son.
Exactly.
Here's a paintbrush.
You can have a little more.
You're not good at that either. You know what? Have you tried languages? Oh dear, this child is really. Everybody, they all find their place eventually. But I think
but you wouldn't describe your kid as mercurial. But Elon Musk, he gets to be mercurial, and it drives me nuts.
It's not a word generally that people use to describe themselves, kids or other people. I think it sounds like, and I've looked it up, its definition is characterized by rapid and unpredictable changeableness of mood, a mercurial temper, for example. But I think it might tie back with the conversation we were talking about media. Elon Musk is one of the most famous men in the world, one of the most richest men in the world. And so he's being written about, and one of the most controversial. So he's been written about nonstop. So whatever editor or writer came up with that word to describe him, maybe it's just to make, a new adjective to describe this guy. I describe him in different words that I won't say on your podcast, but they're much easier and they speak more to me as when I describe him that way, everybody knows what kind of guy I'm talking about. Cartoon villain, I think, is the most accurate. I mean, really, cartoon villain. He's a mercurial cartoon villain. All these words do, tie into the back of your playing card if your card game is superheroes and cartoon villains. What kind of he's mercurial. He's a villain of the highest sort, and he's got all of the money in the world to support his villainy.
That is exactly the conversation I had with my daughter this morning. And I said, he's mercurial? And she goes, he's a villain. That's all he is a villain. And it's true.
Good for her. Good for her. And she's 3.
I know. She's amazing.
Even the young ones know that Elon Musk is. They can see it. They look at his face like, I think that guy might be working with Magneto and Thanos.
But the truth is, Pete, I think really what you want to get at is it's my parenting. My fine, exemplary parenting.
Well, if you want, I don't want to get into the nature nurture argument, but sure.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast. I think it's time for you to go. But before you leave, she said in a squeaky, high-pitched voice, and you don't have to answer this question, but if
I answer all questions,
I have to ask you this as an interviewer type person. Have you ever interviewed Tucker Carlson? We talked about him, and then that brought him to my little festering.
No. Yes. I said no, and I can't believe it. Yes, he sat down in studio with me at SiriusXM. I have interviewed Tucker Carlson. I was, my impression. Yeah. What
was your impression? I mean, I think he may have changed over time too. Also,
he struck me, and I didn't know this.
He struck you?
Time that
I'm sorry. Go on.
He just hit me, and it didn't hurt because his hand is so soft that it felt like I'd been hit with a pillow. I don't think I knew at the time that he was the wealthy child of a very, very wealthy family, the Swanson, I think, frozen food, but he struck me as a rich kid. We're about the same age, and the way that he talked and the way he behaved and even the way that he dressed to a certain extent was this kind of blue blood, affluent prick. Mm. And I immediately didn't like him as a result of that. I mean, I'm generally turned off by those people, even when they're great people, and I'm just judging them because they're wearing a certain type of loafer and work in finance. But, they're wearing pink shorts and Nantucket. But guess what? I'm in Nantucket too. So who am I to be judging them? I'll tell you, better than them. But the point is, he struck me as a really rich jerk. And that's the way that he talked too. I mean, we got into it just a little bit about, I think we were talking about climate, and he loved to talk about how big his Chevy Suburban that he and his wife drove their kids around, even though they only had one kid. Like, he was really trying to, needle me that way. And of course it worked. But I was very turned off by the way that he didn't seem to care about anyone or anything. And he seemed to just be this rich kid who had never struggled and didn't care about those who do at all. And so it's amazing to watch him be deplatformed and also have proof that sometimes it works. It really has worked. He was the most dangerous man in America when he was on Fox News. And now he's talking about reporters and young women the way he used to, and they're not getting death threats. They didn't even know. Brandy Zadronsky of NBC just wrote about that and saying it does work. She used to get threats all day long. Her family needed security because he talked about her on Fox News. But guess what? No one's really listening as much as they did on that platform. And luckily, Jesse Waters has replaced him. And he is potentially the dumbest person that's ever come near a television camera. And even the people, guys like him, even those bros hate him. They're like, come on, man, you're making us look bad. Really? You take your ring off when you go out because you don't want it to get robbed? Really? You said that? That's not something you tell.
He said that?
On TV. Because he's talking about how high crime is. I take my wedding band off now when I go out. And, he's also, maybe he's cleverer than that, knowing that he's just trolling people. But yeah, he's good. I got into it with him. I've got into it with everybody throughout my career. Everybody I've wanted to, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my question. Is there somebody out there that you'd like to get into it with?
I mean, anyone. I love to fight. Bring it. And there's certain people I wouldn't want to get into because I think they're smarter than me. I thought I could take Newt Gingrich. He wiped the floor with me in my own home.
Really?
He wasn't right. He was just better than I was. So I learned from that, and I tried to prepare. But no, I mean, I shared a studio with Steve Bannon, Marissa. We shared a studio at SiriusXM for a year, and then one day I showed up. He was in the on the air on the conservative channel. I was on like a news and independent kind of humor channel that I'd created there at SiriusXM called Insight, and he was on the Breitbart channel. He was in that studio though.
Did he look like? Did you have it fumigated because you were afraid there was a leper in there?
Yeah, well, we were very worried. If you get up close to him, you see like a whale has barnacles. He has these barnacles on him, and then there was also like a series of like muscles, like undersea muscles, not physical human muscles, but like shellfish that would clumped up near his armpit area. But that you expected. What I didn't expect is one day I would show up to SiriusXM and he wasn't there. And because he had been hired by the Trump campaign, the guy I saw every morning, Dirty Steve, Sloppy Steve, every morning, he covered in, his own disgrace, by the way, and just harassing the young female producers in ways that no other men, even the crappy ones, acted. He acted that way, yelled at them and touched them. Who touches a person at work? He did. He had his hand on the small of a woman's back. I'm like, are you serious? And so I walk in. He had been hired by the Trump campaign. That's where he was. And I go, I thought he was here. And they said he was. But, and I still can't believe this, and that's why we need better journalism. Apparently, he turned into a bat and flew right out the 37th floor window.
I've heard that too. I heard that too. We all known for a long time that Rudy Giuliani can do that. I mean, we have seen proof of that.
When he tries to turn into a bat, though, it does he stops mid transformation and starts leaking. And then you're like, oh, he's trying to turn into a bat. Look, he's leaking.
Because he's getting older and he doesn't just have the same sort of like abilities.
Yeah.
Sir, this has been a true pleasure. And I think we should leave people not with the image of delicious fruits bubbling away in the oven, but of leaking Rudy Giuliani. Do you think that's a smart move, or is there something nice we could say? Do you have a special holiday tradition you'd like to share with everybody?
Yes. Every year, my family and I sang Silent Night to outside of a synagogue. And it's triggering for some of my Jewish friends. But we think my family's hilarious. No, we have no traditions. No, nothing
now
really.
You have a new one.
I'm just light anti-Semitism, which I, interpret as humor. They don't. But they started it when they kept dropping dreidels off at my home on Christmas morning. My Jewish friends are hilarious.
That was not me. So. I did not do that.
No, it was my buddy. It was my buddy Moishi. I don't have any friends named Moishi, actually, and most of my friends are Jewish. But I just thought it was funnier than my friend Aaron.
Yeah. No, Moishi definitely goes for it, and then no one misses out, knowing that the guy's Jewish.
Do you miss out? Do you, growing up Jewish, how did you feel about Christmas? This is my favorite question to ask my Jewish friends this time of year.
Well, I'll tell you, because we grew up as assimilated Jews. My family came as half of my family were German Jews who'd come in the 1860s and invented Christmas. They immediately came to this country and started the Ethical Culture Society. So my family celebrated Christmas like better than any Christian.
Your family started the Ethical Culture Society?
Members of my family did.
In the end of this podcast and our relationship, you are better than me.
You didn't know that earlier. But anyway, yeah. So we had big Christmas Day party. We had stockings. And I wised up and married a Catholic so I could get a Christmas tree. A Christmas tree was the only thing we didn't have. Smart. My mother grew up with a big Christmas tree, big fancy Christmas. But my father, who, sort of like escaped the Holocaust, was like, nah, no Christmas trees. But we still celebrated St. Nicholas Day because that was something.
So really, you're a hybrid. You get the best of all of the holidays. Good for you. Good for you.
When Hannah Montana sang, "It's the best of both worlds," She was talking about me.
I think she was. I think she was.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pete Dominick. I look forward to seeing you outside my synagogue this Christmas.
Come on, girls. It's time to head down to the synagogue and sing Christian-based music.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow Pete on Threads and listen to the Stand Up with Pete Dominick podcast wherever fine pods are potted. You can find his latest comedy special on YouTube. Search up Dry Bar and Pete Dominick. Recipes and links to everything you want, including a link to Pete's new comedy special, can be found at marissarothkopf.substack.com. Have a great week, a nifty holiday if that's the kind of thing you're into, and I hope to talk to you all again in the new year. Joy, health, and happiness to all of you.
Have you ever brought your magic to Walt Disney World like, hey, we came to play? Did you tip your tiara to a Creole princess or get goofy officially? Step up like a boss and save the day? Or see what life's like under the tree of life? Did you? If you could. Would you? When we come through, it's true magic. 'Cause we came to play. Bring the magic at Walt Disney World Resort.